Hi, I'm Brendan O'Gorman, and today we'll be doing an album review. That's just a little sit down and chat about my album, College Life Part Two. So buckle up. It is in two. These videos are in two parts, just because they're quite long. Because I have a lot to say about music. So get a snack, get a drink. Let's go. Right, jumping straight into it. Track one is Reminder of Him. This was written within the first 2 weeks of this college year, and it's about a necklace I have that's up there, and it's all about finding little reminders in like the clothes you wear, in just the little things in life that just remind you of certain people, and it's just all about sort of, oh, I remember this about you. That's basically what the whole song's about. And it really did feel like a good start to the album I knew I was going to make coming into my FMP. Like, I knew that I was going to make an album for this project. And it just feels like a good way to start it. Let's listen to some of it. Oh. Straight away, that intro actually was something I said to someone while writing this song. Like, I was on my phone writing the song in my notes app, as I usually will do, and I got a message from someone, and I was like, hey, remind me later. And I thought that would be really, really cool to add in the intro of this song. So I recorded the demo vocals where I was. Like, I was literally just around my college. I was literally just in college, and I was writing this song on my phone, and I recorded some demo vocals of just, hey, remind me later. And I was like, nowadays and just from that bit, I knew what kind of album we were gonna be making eventually. Because I was like, oh, I can add ad-libs in way more songs now, and it doesn't feel out of place. You know what I mean? Just talking bits. It doesn't seem out of place if I add this bit as the first thing you hear on the album. See what that little intro bit that's just softer, sort of brings you into the song. Again, it's just reminiscing about this person. So those two verses, again, you're just reminiscing over this person, and you're sort of just asking yourself questions like, do you is that person still thinking about me? Do they still get reminders of me, kind of thing? And do they miss me? So that line, I once was trending, is about two things. First thing it's about is I was trending with it, I was something you really liked, you know? I was so popular to you specifically, and you liked having me around. You liked being with me, you know. The story's never over. There's always more pages. I still feel your love. So this bit is a Taylor Swift reference. First of all, about, is it Death by a Thousand Cuts? I believe so. And where she says, if this story is over, why am I still writing pages? Because as a songwriter, you tend to write about things way after they've actually happened. And it might not necessarily be because you want to bring up stuff from the past. It's just because you have to write a song, record a song, release a song, and that whole process takes quite a bit of time, and so you're kind of like backlogged with your songs, because even I will write a song about a situation the day of that situation, but we have a schedule. Like every artist will have some sort of schedule in their mind of when they're releasing something, and so you have to then put it behind everything else, and then when it's finally released, you're like talking about something that happened like a year ago, but for you that's the most current thing. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that. And then the voice from above is like when you're listening to, when I'm listening to that song now, or I'm listening to their album Lover, it's almost as if you can sort of hear them singing it as well. And then that bridge bit ends with the lower trending, and it goes into the like interlude section before the outro. Just because I wanted to sort of flow a bit better rather than trending and then just stop and then have the instrumental again. I wanted to feel like the song was still going to continue. Also, the higher harmonies and the lower harmonies in the bridge section, I wanted to add these sort of overlapping layers of like the main track with higher and lower harmonies, like sort of saying different things throughout it, because I wanted it to sound as if you're having this sort of reflection on this person, and you're having like all these like memories and thoughts like flowing through your brain at a time, because you'll just think that like, you get a reminder of this person and you start thinking about when we did this, when we did that kind of thing, and you're just having all these thoughts just like flowing around your brain of this person. So I wanted to sort of have the layers. And so I ended up just writing "It's all a reminder of him," which was supposed to be just one line, and I was supposed to like just sort of about it. But I thought it sounds better if it's just like more fast paced. Again, we're sticking with the theme of like things rushing around your head, like memories coming back, kind of thing. So I thought me sort of belting out this one sort of thing just doesn't seem right for like the same sort of vibe that we just had 2 seconds ago. So I did the "It's all a reminder, all a reminder, all a reminder of him." Right, moving on to track 2, we've got "Perfect Dream," which can I say is just one of my favourite songs off the album. So you start with that nice beat. This again is about someone who I have written songs about. So you'll notice in my music I like to use the same words and the same sort of rhymes when I'm referring to the same person. Because I think having those sort of connections is very important to building sort of the story behind someone. Quite a lot of my songs from like around this time last year, you'll hear, especially in Just When is the song I'm mainly referring to, there's "You had a dream charm, and that was the harm. You let my quick fall just to leave it all." Again, in this song, you hear the "I was safe in your arms, but you keep me from harm." Because again, in Just When, I say basically the same thing, just slightly different, because I'm referring to the same person. Moving on. My perfect dream. That is referring to sort of the, like, all of a sudden everything sort of kicked off. I don't want to go into too much detail about everything, but everything sort of kicked off, and I was so sort of on such a high that I didn't notice until a bit after, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, you know, because I've literally just been like stabbed in the back by the people closest to me. But yeah. Turning blue, another tally to your score. That line, I remember writing, another tally to your score. It's just a little cute line, but also it talks about how this specific person the song's about seems to do the same thing and has done the same thing for a long time. And so it's just another tally to their score. It's just another person that they've hurt. It's just another person that now has to deal with the consequences of their actions. So I thought it was just a nice sort of phrasing for that. My perfect dreams, I'll always have me. That's a perfect dream. So this song is obviously, again, referring to this person and how in my older music from this time last year, I say things like it was sort of, I had a future, I was sort of picturing like this picture, this, you know, nice life. And obviously that didn't end up happening. So I say they stole that dream. However, that's okay, because I'll just make myself a new dream, and my new dream will be me. Like, I will dream myself, and I don't need anyone else to be in that picture, kind of thing. You know, I want to just build upon myself rather than needing someone to be with me to build like a life, you know. To your So for that last outro verse, obviously I wanted to repeat the verse previously in the song, but I wanted to have the higher pitch because I thought that the sort of innocent sound of it being higher can reflect the fact that I'm becoming more innocent again. I'm becoming more like free from the pain that I went through, and it's sort of like I'm now referring back to myself again, and it shows that I'm back at that high. And then the 2-line outro, you saw that dream, oh that perfect dream, again just referring to the fact that I built this future, and now I'm never going to get that perfect dream. But to be fair, I don't want that perfect dream no more. But like, I'm never going to get that perfect dream. But well. Moving on, we've got track 3, which is Burned in Me. Straight off the bat, I do like the strings that I added. I do. Ooh, when I get the chance. The song is basically saying, we never speak. We're most likely going to break up. Like, you can see the end of the relationship before it's like actually happening. You can feel the warmth of my tears. Don't you shed a tear. You know. So obviously the chorus is basically just saying that we don't have time to call, and I'm saying I'll call you when I get the chance. You know, I'll call you when I have time. Because it's something that we both said to each other. It was always just, oh, I'll call you when I have a minute, like on both sides. But we never actually had a minute to sit down and actually have a conversation for like quite a while. Oh, and then the next line saying, I miss how you glance into my soul. Like that line is basically saying that when we would talk, like, and be on call and be talking, and when we'd see each other, they could see, like, they could really see me as a person, which is very different to like a lot of my exes who didn't see me but saw what they could get out of me. Yeah, I wanted to write about that because it just felt like the first time that I had someone actually care about me as a person. But yeah. So when I take the chance, I'll call for your glance. Call you. And then the song ends with the chorus. Hello, they burned in me years ago. Yeah, that was Burned in Me. Again, quite a sad track. But the album tackles themes of mental health and grief and the good parts and the bad parts of being a teenager at college. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be good and bad parts, and relationships that go well and relationships that don't go well, and it's all just a big sort of mess. Right, moving on to the next track, we have It's the Last Time. I'm already going to stop it there. Right. So the tracks so far also fit within different projects in my discography. Right now it's going in order of certain projects. This feels like a mixture of Save Us and Goodbye Oh Goodbye. Like it feels like a nice mixture of the upbeat songs in those projects and the vocals in those projects, which is the whole point of College Life Part 2, is to sort of feel like a good continuation of my music and also pay homage to the music that I've made so far. I will say this song can be quite annoying to listen to vocally, but the song was made with the intention of being quite annoying, because you're kind of listen, like it's almost like you're listening to your friend and they're like, trust me, it's the last time I'm gonna get with this person. It's the last time I'm gonna do this. It's the last time, I promise. Like, do you know what I mean? And you're like, we have heard this a lot, you know? Like every week you say this, that it's the last time, you're not gonna do it again, and then you do it again. So I wanted it to sound a bit annoying, so it was way more annoying. It was a lot more sort of just, but I changed it because I was like, that's actually too much. Just because it's less jarring to listen to, because it was like, cause you're bad for me. But then before, it was 'Cause you're bad for me. But like high. Like, do you know what I mean? But like, and it was just too much to put in a whole song. Obviously when it was written though, it was only like, there was only like a verse, like, you know, of the whole song. So I get why I sort of did that, because I was like, oh, that could be okay. But then writing the whole song in that sort of melody, I was like, that's too much. So I changed it. Again, that bit, I can never breathe when you're next to me. I don't want you to leave. Like, those two lines are like proving the point that you don't actually want it to be the last time, you know. And it's like, you know, it hurts, you know, this cycle is just not good for you, but you're like, it's what I know. Like, I know this cycle inside and out, so it's familiar to me. It's sort of more comfortable doing the same thing than it is going outside your sort of comfort zone and doing something else. But obviously, you know, it's not good for you, but you're gonna keep doing it. But yeah, just saying I don't want you to leave is just a line that just shows and literally tells you straight up, I don't want you to go. And this is just after saying, so hit me with goodbye. Because you sort of need it to be their decision to stop things. Even though that will hurt you way more, you sort of need them to say no. Because if they don't say it, you're just going to keep being in the cycle. That I can't keep doing it to myself, I can't keep doing it to everyone I love. Again, saying I can't keep doing this because I keep telling the people around me that I'm not going to do it again, and I do it again. And so they have to then deal with me. Again, just repeating, it's the last time, it's the last time. Hit me with goodbye. You need to say no. Again, you need to say goodbye. You need to say no. I know, it just seems perfect for what I'm talking about, you know? Like, you need to hit me with goodbye. You, like the word hit, like, is a very sort of aggressive word to use. But it's like, when you're in that sort of place and you're sort of in this cycle, you sort of need the person to like really snap you out of it. And so obviously the word hit is good to use because it's very aggressive and very just like, you need it done now. Like, this needs to sort of, you know, there needs to be action taken, otherwise we're going to keep doing this. Next track, we have track 5, which again is quite another sad one. Again, but the album is about mental health and grief, which this song is the first song to explicitly talk about any sort of grief. And this song talks about the loneliness and sort of isolation that someone can feel. Obviously I'm referring to me, but obviously a lot of people can relate to what I talk about in this song. So it starts off with an organ, and it's sort of just like very chill, laid back instrumental. I got always watching people leave. From 2 years old, I've been growing. So again, that first verse, like, basically introduces the whole idea of the song straight off the bat, of being alone. I feel stranded and deserted, basically saying people leave me, which I then carry on by saying it seems like I'm always watching people leave. Because especially when I was writing this song, I was referring to sort of a summary of 2024 and the start of college, that it seemed that each week there was just someone else leaving my life, but also it seems to be a recurring theme throughout my whole life that people just sort of leave. And then from 2 years old, I've been growing grief. Again, the first time of this album that I'll mention the word grief, which obviously flows into the next song of Growing Grief quite nicely. From 2 years old and Growing Grief, specifically mentioning the first time that I sort of lost someone in my life, kind of thing. I think that's all I'll say for now, because it kind of spoils an album that I've already got up my sleeve. Why did I drive through? Like, from crying, like your eyes are all weird and your throat's like dry. Each new wave brings a new test. Again, lots of water imagery in this song, because I feel like the ocean is probably one of the loneliest places on Earth, because obviously there's no one around. If you go out into like the middle of the ocean, there's not going to be anyone around, and so the loneliest place on Earth is like sort of in the middle of water on just a little boat by yourself. And so each new wave brings a new test. Talking like physically, if you were on a lifeboat in the middle of, you know, the sea, the ocean, whatever, and like the waves are just really strong kind of thing, and you're in this tiny lifeboat, that's going to cause a problem, and it's kind of going to test your ability to just show up kind of thing, you know. It's going to test your ability to sort of be able to handle that situation, but also the waves of, because obviously mental health and things like anxiety and all that kind of thing, it comes in waves. So again, it's saying each new wave of like this sort of anxiety, depression, you know, all these things, that each new wave of it brings something else to think about, something else to solve, like a new problem to solve. Again, there, a bit more like water imagery with the deep blue waves at sea, talking about like deep blue. If you say I'm feeling blue, it means you're feeling like sad. Just before that, you have everyone's left me, basically. Romantic partners and just friends, seems like a lot of them tend to leave. Again, making, like, if you think of your life being this in this boat, the person will come and then they'll leave, kind of thing. So you're then again lonely in this boat. My life's my only bestowment from my mother miss me. Again, that verse, there's just a lot to unpack during this song. So I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but there's just a lot to speak about in this song, so you understand sort of everything that I'm saying. So my life's my only bestowment. Basically saying my life is the only gift that I have. That my life is the only thing I have. You know, you only have that one life. This is all I sort of have. Thanks to obviously my mother. And then saying my family, they all say they miss me. Basically saying from being so isolated, you don't really see your friends, you don't really see your family, because you're sort of so just trapped within yourself that you don't really go out, you don't really see people, you don't. And it's not like you don't want to see these people, because obviously you want to see these people, because you know it's going to make you happy, you know it's going to, you know, having people in your life will obviously make your life a bit better, but the anxiety and sort of the idea of actually going can be very daunting and very just sort of, it's a big sort of fence in your way. But yeah, that is what that sort of verse is saying. Alone in a boat. What I also want to quickly mention is the SOS Morse code bit. Again, it's like you're reaching out for help. This is an emergency. You're at last. It's a last resort. You know what I mean? It's you're using all of these things like survival tools because it is your last resort. And I also want to mention it here because I'm pretty sure the next verse goes into more of these sort of desperate last resort measures. This verse is saying, like, don't say that people didn't care about their lives and say that they sort of gave up. If you know what I'm referring to, you know what I'm referring to. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you because I don't know how else to put it on here. But it's basically saying, like, don't say they sort of just gave up, because it's a long sort of battle with mental health, and so it could have been just too hard. You know, things can just get too hard. And so it's like, don't blame the person for life being difficult. But we're not looking at the bigger picture and the bigger problem. It's like, why is life so... Like, why is this person feeling like this? Oh, because of social, like, aspects of their life. That is why life is hard. It's not the person just sort of gave up. And so that is a message that I wanted to sort of bring in to this song, because it's how I feel about that sort of situation. Because they're fighting a very long battle. It's years and years of things building up that they can't necessarily let go of. But yeah, I'll leave that segment there. So here I am like saying I, but the I is more just like people in general. If that makes any sense. It's more just like, we're all sort of shooting these flares in the sky to say, like, we all need help. We're all struggling. We're all sort of here. And then other people are sort of looking at you going, well, it's not that hard. Just get over it. Just get a job. Just, you know, do this. And they're not seeing that there's a lot of problems with just fixing your life overnight. You know, you can't just fix your life overnight and, you know, everything's all good now. Don't worry about everything else. You know, it's all good now. Because it's just not how things work. And so they have like this look in the eye of just sort of like disappointment. They're looking down at you. I say that I'm going down with my ship, basically saying the life I'm in is sinking, and someone is looking at me disappointed and looking down at me because my lifeboat is giving in. And then we go into the first verse. Years old, I've been growing grief. So obviously I end the song with the first verse again, because again it gives a different sort of perspective and different meaning, which is why I love the first verse and the outro being the same lyrics, because it can just give the whole song a completely new perspective when you next listen to it as well. Like when you go and listen to it again, you're like, straight away you're like, oh, and you sort of see things that you didn't before. Yeah, I feel like the first verse was a good way to sort of also show that mental health is also a cycle, and it sort of just, it will always be there no matter how much you do to sort of help it, like the amount of therapy, the amount of everything that you do to sort of help and manage it. It will always be there. You know, it can be better and it can be worse, but it will always be there. Moving on, we now have Growing Grief. It's quite a short one. It's got that intro bit where it's going off of Lifeboat. So this song is like a social commentary um, on society. Like it's just sort of picking apart society, and sort of saying don't be naive to people and be very sort of skeptic when people, because people always want something, you know. People will always want something from you. You chase the color green, basically saying everyone chases money, everyone wants money. We live in a society where you need money, kind of thing. And then you don't see what's up their sleeve, basically referring to you don't see what they want, you don't know what they want. And then it goes on to then say, like, don't chase the color green, don't be chasing money, don't just care about money. And then you should see what's up their sleeve, basically saying look at people and actually think what is up their sleeve, like what is their plan, what do they want from me, you know. So there I say it changes how you breathe, basically saying once you have so much grief and you've got so much pain inside you that it gets so overwhelming, and it can cause like physical problems. It can cause you some physical problems, you know, not being able to think clearly or breathe properly because you've just got so much going on and you feel very suffocated by life. You should see what's up there, sleep. See what's up there, sleep. 'Cause you're in and out of grief. Don't grow in and out of grief. It changes how you breathe. It changes how you. And that's Growing Grief. Again, it's just a short song to sort of get you into the next part of the album, from Lifeboat, because Lifeboat is it's a song that you want the audience to sit with, and so Growing Grief gives that space to allow for the audience to actually just sit there and think about what was just said, without just moving straight into the next bit of the album and just like completely throwing the vibe off. Because obviously the next song is Magical Moments, which we will get to in the next video, which is a completely different vibe to Lifeboat. So we needed a track in between that would be able to flow nicely, and the drummers make it a bit more upbeat. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of this album review, sit down and chat. The next part will be up very shortly. If you did like it, give us a like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will catch you next time.